The gun hasn't fired yet. The tension in this stadium is already suffocating. Witte, Święty-Ersetic, Sprunger, Hołub-Kowalik. 4 women who've spent years working toward this exact moment. One bend, one straight, 400 meters of controlled aggression. Who takes it? Lisanne Witte, Netherlands, lane 6, one of the sharpest 400-meter runners this continent has produced. Justyna Święty-Ersetic, Poland, lane 5. Double European champion indoors, individually and in the relay, and a world championship medalist with the Polish squad. Leah Sprunger of Switzerland in lane 4, a powerful and technically gifted quarter-miler who nobody takes lightly on any track. And Małgorzata Hołub-Kowalik, Poland, lane 3, another member of Coach Matuszynski's squad, a relay world championship medalist herself, and tonight she lines up against 2 of her fiercest European rivals in what is shaping up to be a loaded race from wire to wire. Arena Toruń is locked in. Blocks are set. 4 women ready to run. This crowd has been waiting all night for this race. And they're off. Sprunger out hard right to the front. That long, powerful stride taking control of this race immediately. Sprunger into the first bend, using every inch of her frame. Święty-Ersetic is right behind her, patient and controlled. Witte tracking in lane 6. Hołub-Kowalik working, but Sprunger is dictating pace through this opening curve. Sprunger still out front through the back straight, arms driving hard. Święty-Ersetic sits perfectly in her shadow, waiting, holding back everything she's got. Final bend now. Sprunger leads, but Święty-Ersetic is right there. She's not giving an inch. Around the curve she goes wide. She's moving past Sprunger, and with 50 meters to go, Justyna is in front. Święty-Ersetic is gone down the straight. Sprunger has no answer. Witte is coming, but nobody's catching Justyna today. Święty-Ersetic wins. Polish national record, 51.37. Justyna takes the gold right here in Arena Toruń. Justyna can't believe it. Arms out, chest heaving, pure emotion right here on the track. Witte, silver, 51.90. Sprunger, bronze, 51.93. Both ran hard, but this night is Poland's. Hołub-Kowalik sprints over to embrace her teammate, and Arena Toruń is shaking. That 51.37 is the best 400 meters run indoors in the world right now. She said she'd never opened an indoor season this fast. Tonight, she backed up every word. Watch this again in slow motion. Out of the blocks, Sprunger gets the cleanest exit, that long Swiss stride eating up the first curve right away. But look at Święty-Ersetic. She doesn't panic, she doesn't chase. She slots in right behind Sprunger's shoulder and runs the most disciplined tactical race you've seen all season. Through the back straight, she's conserving, every movement efficient, nothing wasted. Now here's where it happens. Top of the final bend, about 100 meters left. Justyna starts to accelerate, moves wide, and the gap just disappears. Sprunger is running all out, but Święty-Ersetic's finishing speed is on a different level. Watch the leg turnover change right there. The frequency goes up, the hip drive is ferocious, and she's gone. Sprunger can't close it. Witte is flying late, but this race is already decided. She stayed patient when Sprunger was in control, struck at exactly the right moment, and never looked back. Polish national record, 51.37, number 1 in the world indoors. Justyna Święty-Ersetic at her peak. The race was decided at the top of the final bend, not at the tape. That's where Święty-Ersetic made her move, sliding wide out of Sprunger's shadow and accelerating into a gap that hadn't fully opened yet. She didn't wait for a clear lane. She created one. By the time she hit the final straight, Sprunger had nothing left to give, and the race was effectively over. The last 50 meters was confirmation, not competition. What made that move possible was everything that came before it. Watch the first 200 meters again. Sprunger got out hard, right to the front, establishing position on the opening curve with that long Swiss stride. She was running her race. She was race, and she was running it well. Święty-Ersetic didn't fight her for it. She settled in directly behind Sprunger's shoulder, controlled her own tempo, and let the Swiss runner do the work. Through the back straight, Sprunger's arms were driving, her pace was strong, and Justyna was just there, patient, almost passive looking. That's not weakness, that's the plan working. The danger with sitting in behind a front runner in the indoor 400 is that you're always one bad move from getting boxed or forced wide at the worst moment. The track is narrow, the curves are tight. Święty-Ersetic threaded that needle. She maintained her position without burning extra energy fighting for it, and when the final bend arrived, she had the reserves to accelerate when Sprunger no longer could. That's the core tactical exchange in this race. Two athletes, both running well, but only one of them planned for the last 100 meters. The finishing speed she showed is worth examining on its own. In the 400, what separates the good from the elite is almost always the back half. Plenty of runners can hold position through 200 meters. Far fewer can actually accelerate at 300. Święty-Ersetic didn't just maintain through the final bend. She pushed. She went wide. She committed to the move early enough that Sprunger couldn't respond, and she drove all the way through the line. That's not a runner hanging on. That's a runner with genuine finishing strength, built from years of 400-meter racing at the highest level. Sprunger ran a tactically sensible race and still finished third. That tells you something about the level Święty-Ersetic reached tonight. The Swiss runner controlled the first 300 meters, set the pace, and ran 51.93. On most nights in most fields, that kind of effort wins medals. Here it earned bronze, 300ths behind Witte's silver of 51.90. The margin between second and third was almost nothing. 300ths of a second after 400 meters of racing indoors. Witte tracked the race well from lane 6, stayed patient behind the leaders, and came home strongly enough to edge Sprunger at the line. She ran a composed, efficient race. Hołub-Kowalik, Święty-Ersetic's Polish teammate in lane 3, crossed in 52.85. She was in the race through the opening curve, but couldn't maintain contact once Sprunger set a genuine pace through the back straight. A 52.85 indoors is a decent run in isolation, but against this field on this night, the gap was real. She finished nearly 1.5 seconds behind her teammate. That's not a close race for fourth. 51.37, Polish national record. That's the number that will travel out of Arena Toruń tonight and into the broader conversation about where this event is heading. Święty-Ersetic didn't just win. She ran the fastest 400 meters any Polish woman has ever run indoors. Setting that kind of mark in a championship final, under pressure, against a field that included Sprunger and Witte, is a different kind of performance than setting a record in a time trial, or a heat where the conditions are controlled. She had to race her competitors, and she had to race the clock, and she handled both. She came into this meet saying she hadn't expected to open the season this fast. Athletes who've been around long enough usually mean it when they say that. The body sometimes operates ahead of the athlete's own projections, especially when preparation has gone cleanly. What she ran here suggests the work between seasons landed exactly right, that her fitness arrived earlier than expected, and that her confidence in her own finishing speed is well-founded. A Polish national record in early indoor season is an unusual thing. Most athletes are building toward a peak. Święty-Ersetic may already be there. She's a double European champion indoors, individually and with the Polish relay squad, and she's a world championship medalist in the relay. Those aren't footnotes. That's a resume that says she performs when the stakes are highest. Adding a national record in a championship environment reinforces that. She doesn't just collect good times in low-pressure races. She produces her best work when the field is strongest. The European Indoor Championships now arrive with her as the clear form athlete in this event. Her rivals watched tonight's race. Sprunger knows she set the pace and still lost. Witte knows she ran well and still finished 53 hundredths back. The competitors who weren't here will see the 51.37 and know what they're running against. That's the reality Święty-Ersetic has created for herself. She's the one everyone else has to find an answer for. The question her competitors will ask is whether she can be pushed into going out too fast, whether front-running pressure can disrupt the patient, controlled approach that made tonight work. Sprunger tried exactly that strategy, and it wasn't enough. What comes next will tell us whether this is a peak or a new baseline. A Polish national record early in the indoor season, with the major championships still ahead. That's where she is right now.